Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, today's episode, we're going to take a look at another bank by their full credit card catalog, this time focusing on Union Bank. Not to be confused with Union Bank of Switzerland, which is UBS. Don't worry, we'll sort it all out in a minute. So in typical fashion, we will learn more about Union Bank as a whole. We'll talk about the points, earnings, and redemptions. We'll cover the cards themselves. They have some personal and business ones that could be pretty interesting. And then, of course, we'll come out on the other side of this, figuring out if these cards are worthy of a spot in your wallet or not. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, first things first, let's lead off with our classic Did You Know slide so we can learn more about Union Bank and not mix it up with UBS, which is maybe something I did in the beginning of this. So here we go, classic Did You Know. MUFG Bank, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group as it stands for. This was formed between a merger between Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi plus UFJ Bank, and this was back in January of 2006. Now this ended up at the time creating the largest bank in Japan. Now over here, stateside, they operate as Union Bank, of course owned by MUFG in its entirety. Now, weirdly enough, location-wise, they are headquartered in NYC. However, they have 398 branches in California, Washington, and Oregon, which is a little bit interesting for a regional breakout there, but hey, it works. Now, on top of all that, they are the 30th largest bank in the U.S. at the time. And one more thing of note before we jump into the cards themselves, if you see anything you like here, take this as sort of a last call. And the reason being is U.S. Bank has actually agreed to acquire Union Bank. Now the term should be finalized sometimes in the first half of 2022, which we're quickly approaching the end of. Now quick terms here, looks like U.S. Bank is going to pay approximately $8 billion. That is going to include $5.5 billion in cash and approximately 44 million shares of U.S. Bancorp common stock. So again, we're going to jump to the cards in a second, but if you see something you like here, consider this the final call on Union Bank cards, as they will most likely be transitioned to the U.S. Bank offerings, which I have a video about as well, so I can link that down below. So now that we know more about Union Bank as a whole, let's talk about the points, earnings, and redemptions. Then we'll go straight into the credit card, starting with the personal, then the business, that come out on the other end with everything you need to know. So here we have the earnings and rewards. So these cards, like a lot of cards, they say cash back and points, but think of them as cash back cards, even though some of them do earn points. And you'll see why in a second. So when we get to the redemptions here, we do have a few options, and you can see why the cash back is going to come into play. Now, you can deposit into a Union Bank deposit account, so that's a checking or savings account, and you can actually do that on specific cards that we'll talk about at 1.25 cents a point. You can also, on specific cards, deposit into a mortgage principal payment for 1.5 cents, again, for specific cards. You can do a statement credit, which is going to be 1 cent per point, and then you have gift cards, travel, and merchandise as well. So, really quickly here before we get into the cards, you can see again, this is why it's going to be cash back, because the top 3 redemptions are going to be your best valuations. When you get down into gift cards and merchandise and travel, it's really hard to figure out without having an account and going able to price things what kind of point, cent per point valuation you're going to get. Again, 1 cent per point is going to be the baseline, so anything above 1 cent, that 1.5 or the 1.25 is going to be pretty good. So that's why I would stick to cash back with these. Now again, you're going to have your mortgage through Union Bank, of course, or have a deposit account with them. But that shouldn't be a problem if you're looking at these. Though I do believe with their footprint, this should be open to quite a few people either way. So with that said, let's take a look at the personal cards now. So first up in personal cards, we have the Platinum card. If you're a regular of the channel, you know how much I just love credit card issuers always having a cliched Platinum card. But there's no annual fee, there's no multipliers here, and the reason being is because this is your typical APR low balance transfer card. So the benefits we're looking at here is going to be 0% intro APR on purchases and balance transfers on the first 15 months from account opening. Now, in addition to that, you're also going to get 0 intro balance transfer fee when completed within 60 days of account opening. There is a $10 minimum. Now, that actually is not a bad option. I do have a video on balance transfer cards that I'll link below. And generally, the balance transfer fee is going to be 3 to 5%. So to get a 0 balance transfer fee is pretty good, actually, despite this being a generic Platinum Platinum card. So don't write it off just yet. Now we move on to the Union Bank secured card. So we do have an annual fee here, which is kind of weird for a secured card. It's $25. There are no multipliers to be had. Now the benefits here, you can get a secured credit limit up to $5,000, which requires you to open a specific deposit account with them and deposit that $5,000 or less. It doesn't have to be $5. You can go up to $5, and that will in effect be your credit limit. You also get access to see your FICO score. So here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting. We're talking about the Bank Freely Rewards card. So no annual fee, multipliers here can be 1.5x on all purchases. Now the benefits, there are no foreign transaction fees, and this is where you can see that 1.25 or 1.5 cents come into play. So we're talking about a 25% points boost when redeeming to a Union Bank checking or savings account. Those are deposit accounts, or 50% points boost when redeeming for a principal reduction to your Union Bank mortgage. So what this is saying is, in my opinion, just to be aware of before we move on, is that I don't believe you can use points to make your actual mortgage payment, but you can put points towards like an additional payment or something like that. So it's just something to be aware of. I don't know that you'll be able to redeem points and make your full mortgage payment, because it says it has to go specific to the principal reduction, and your mortgage payment is usually made up of multiple things. You're going to have your taxes and insurance, things like that, interest in there as well. So just make note of that. Now, moving on, we have the preferred rewards here. So another no annual fee card. Multipliers, we get a little bit more interesting here. So we have 5x on the first $6,000 in digital wallet purchases. That is in year number 1 only, to my understanding. Now you have 3x on the first $6,000 at restaurants. That renews annually. 2x back on the first $6,000 in gas and groceries annually, and once you meet your $6,000 limit, it will drop down to 1x, and you're also getting 1x on all their purchases. And as far as benefits go, you get the exact same 25% or 50% boost we just talked about, so we won't spend too much time there. And now we move on to the travel rewards card. So this clocks in at an annual fee of $49. However, it is waived in year number 1. So multipliers here, a little bit of the same structure. You have 3x on up to $6,000 on travel annually, 2x on up to $6,000 in restaurants annually. Then it resets to 1x until the next year starts. Now benefits here, you're going to have a $50 airline incidental credit. That is annually. So when we talk about airline incidentals, think things like check bags, fees like that, not necessarily on airline tickets. I'm not aware of any loopholes for Union Bank, but if you know of any for the airline incidental, feel free to drop them down below. You're also going to get no foreign transaction fees. Then you have the same 25% and 50% points boost respectively, depending on your redemption. With that, we move on to the business cards, and the first up is business card, and I just love a name that's so direct to the point. $30 annual fee here, no multipliers to be had. The benefits here are going to be a secured credit limit up to $25,000. So basically, this is a secured card for businesses. If you want to build your business credit, it just has a much higher potential credit limit. Again, you're going to have to have that $25K on hand. Again, it doesn't have to be $25K, but that is the limit. So with that, we move on to Business Platinum, another Platinum card. Wouldn't you know it? Annual fee is $0. No multipliers to be had here. The benefits here, 0% intro APR on purchases and balance transfers for the first 6 months of account opening, so pretty standard. And now we have the last business card on the list, which is the Business Preferred Reward. So annual fee, $0. Multipliers here, 5x up to $25K on select business services annually. So these are the ones they list: office supply stores, utility bills, and telecom services. 2x back and up to $25K on gas stations and restaurants annually, then 1x on all other purchases. So, of course, those multipliers up there, the 5x and the 2x, that is going to be, combined purchases. So, in between office supply, utility, and telecom, it can be $25,000 total a year. So, just to be clear on that. And so, there we have it, guys. Those are all of Union Bank credit cards, both personal and business. Now, get into some thoughts here. Overall, I'm a fan of the actual redemptions. I do think, for being able to get a slight boost into a deposit account or into a mortgage is something I would like to see more banks consider. Now that's probably because, a lot of mortgage companies or banks end up selling off the loan and sell off the mortgage servicing rights along with the loan. So, they don't necessarily keep it in their system enough to, to be able to marry rewards points to it at a boost. That'd be my guess, but a little bit out of scope for this. If you're banking with Union Bank and you like it, I don't think those are bad options by any means. Now, the star of the show here is going to be that business card. And if it looks familiar to frequenters of the show, it's because that business preferred card is basically the Chase Ink Cash card, which is is a fan favorite business card, and it might be actually my favorite business card. That one's probably the winner to get 5x back on office supply stores, and they even noted utilities. I think that's a great card. So, overall, I don't think this is a bad lineup if you're banking with Union Bank. I don't think you could go wrong here. I mean, obviously there are better options elsewhere, but if you're doing this and you're redeeming them the right way for into that deposit account or mortgage, then I think you're doing pretty good considering the options that they offer. Now, if you're someone looking, to bonus hunt or something like that, again, you probably want to consider that business card. If you're already locked out of Chase and 524 and you can't get theirs, this could be a good alternative for you to hold over. Or if you just go really, really hard at office supply stores and 5x back, then why not just get both of them? But anyways, guys, if you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. My question for you guys is let me know what you think about Union Bank's credit card offering. Were you a little bit surprised to see some of the offers? And what do you think about these redemption options into deposit accounts and into your mortgage? Is this something you consider? And would you like to see other issuers do the same? Love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.